Movies are one of the most consumed forms of art in our society. Humans are drawn towards stories and ideas, and movies are the perfect way to communicate them in a very broad way. There are many components to creating a film, from set design to writing and cinematography. Film directors have to use quite a few things in order to manipulate the way we feel about the film and its characters. One of the most powerful tools, of course, is cinematography. A few of the tools in the tool belt of these artists are mixtures of contrast, the way color is used, and the direction of light in any particular scene. It is sometimes challenging to figure out how to use the camera and the scene to accurately communicate how a character is feeling at a certain time. These techniques and many more are used in combination to affect the way you feel. Because our minds take in information passively, quite often these effects on your mind are done without your explicit awareness. One very powerful tool is camera angle and the camera's distance from the character. There are a myriad of options available to the cinematographer, and one of them is the close-up. The close-up camera angle is quite powerful because it is the most accurate way to display a character's emotion. As infants, we are drawn toward things that look like a face, and as adults, that permeates into what we respond to more dramatically. Faces carry important information about what is going on in a film, so closeness to the face can manipulate the viewer's feeling about the mind of a character. Neuroscientific research shows us that when a viewer is processing faces and facial expression, it activates the part of the brain that handles representing mental states of others and experiencing the mental states of others. Another useful trick is deciding how low or high to place the camera in relation to the character it is filming. Believe it or not, this can very powerfully affect our perception of a character. The running theory is that a low camera angle gives the subject a sense of dominance and superiority, an eye-level camera shot is considered to be very neutral, and a high camera angle gives the feeling that the subject is small and kind of weak. There have been quite a few studies to back this theory up. It's important to note that in many cases, a slight camera angle change can have subtle changes of perception, but if the high or low camera angle is too dramatic, it can have a more distracting effect. Overall, when the camera is shooting a subject from a low point of view, the character is perceived as more powerful, and a higher camera view gives the more weakening effect. There was another study that showed that the camera angle can have an effect on the perceived attractiveness of a subject. A study in 1974 used factors of different camera angles and found that a lower camera angle can improve the attractiveness of a character, but only when used in small amounts. One interesting camera trick commonly found in horror is shooting characters through different objects. This can quite often give a very unsettling effect, like the character is being watched. Using the fact that a higher camera angle makes things seem weak, shooting through an object at a character from above can give the sense that a strong character is looking down on a weak character. One very skillful trick used in film is the manipulation of light and color. This is a very powerful way to control the mood and feeling of a film. Shadows can be used in a lot of different ways to create suspense, mystery, and fear. It has been done hundreds of times in horror films where a monster is only seen from a shadow. This taps into our imagination because quite often, what we can imagine is more terrifying than what is actually behind the shadow. When an antagonist's face is covered by a shadow, this can create mystery and suspense about how a character is feeling. It prevents us from processing the facial expression, which causes us to be more fearful of the intention of the antagonist. There are two very common types of lighting used. They are referred to as low-key light and high-key light, both of which have their own unique psychological effect. Low-key light creates a lot of shadow and overall a very dark image, which creates a more suspenseful effect. High-key light is the opposite. It creates a very well-lit and bright scene. This is used a lot in comedy films. High-key light may not be very obvious, but it creates no mystery, allowing us to be at ease, giving more room for jokes and things like that. Nowadays, cinematographers can use a combination of color and light to influence your mood. Now, color is used very differently than the way they use color in advertising. The idea that a red logo suggests hunger or food is not the case in movies. Quite often, red is a very scary or alarming color to see. Color is very dependent on context and hue. Blue can be a very calming color in a very well-lit environment, but when blue is used in a dark environment, it can be more suspenseful. All in all, cinematography is one of the most powerful tools used in film to manipulate the way we are processing the film. From camera angle to the lighting, this can either make or break the film.